All right, join me to welcome Mr. Soumitro Chakraborty.
My name is Soumitro Chakraborty, and I come from Jamf. I head the channel business for Jamf for the India, Middle East, Africa, and the Central Eastern Europe region. Just let's have a look at the agenda that we have today. We'll just try and understand a bit about the company called Jamf. Then we will get into the threat landscape, the modern threat landscape that is there around the Apple ecosystem, and also the mobile world, which includes both the iOS and the Android platform. And following that, we'll have a bit discussion on or a sneak peek into the partner programs that we have, because we are here with most of the channel partners across the country. And then I will have my colleague Roopam, who will be here with me to talk about some of the technologies that we use to secure the modern workforce. So without further ado, let's get going. But before we get going, I'd just like to ask you, how many of you have heard about Jamf before? Okay. Is it an acronym? Okay, so there is a popular belief that Jamf means just another management framework or just another Mac fan, and it is not. It is actually a character from one of the novels by Thomas Pynchon, Gravity's Rainbow. So that is how we got the name. And let's just have a look at in terms of what we exactly do. So we help organizations succeed with Apple. And we had been in the industry for more than 20 years now. We are a Minneapolis-based software company. And as we speak, we are having an active base of 75,000 plus customers across the globe, managing around 34 million devices. And another aspect that we have is we have the largest community of Apple admin across the world. Now, what does that mean? That means that when it comes to Apple device management and the security around it, we are the market leaders. And that is supported by the fact that 15 out of the 15 top universities across the US trust us when it comes to their Apple device management. 10 out of the top 10 US banks use Jamf, and also 8 of the top 10 tech companies across the world trust Jamf when it comes to their device management. So moving here, and as we talked about, the theme that every company has, or the vision statement. So ours is we help organizations succeed with Apple, and we are here to simplify work. So over the years, we had been, our focus had been relentlessly on the Apple ecosystem. But in the recent past, we had been also having a razor sharp focus on the mobile platforms. So when we say that, it doesn't only talk about the iOS, it's also talk about the Android platform. And because this is a platform which is a platform of choice for the new generations. And if we try and have a look at what's happening around the threat landscape. So over the last few years, Mac had been having a wonderful journey when it comes to the growth factor, right? So we have seen that in the last 3 to 5 years, the footprint of Mac in the enterprise has grown by 60%, the growth rate. And today, as we speak, 20% of the computing device is Mac today. Now, what does that mean? That means that for the threat actors, the attack surface is much bigger today. And that's where, we come. So, and we have tools which are specifically designed for this platform, because we know one size doesn't fit all. And most of the solutions that are designed today are actually designed keeping the Windows environment in mind. So this is actually backed up by a report that we have, and that actually is from the Jamf Threat Labs. Now, what is Jamf Threat Lab? It is a team of security experts and I would say the threat specialist and data scientist at Jamf who actually analyze this data and try and understand that what are the nature of those attacks, and then they design the solutions for that. So there is a popular belief that in the Mac or the Apple ecosystem, although it is one of the most secure platform, but users believe that there is no scope of any malware, right? There is a popular belief. But what has happened is, in the recent past, as the surface has become bigger, the attack surface, the threat actors are getting more and more sophisticated, right? They are designing those malwares targeting this particular platform. Why? Because there is a better ROI, because there is a bigger area to play. So keeping that in mind, I mean, we actually not only we are trying to get into that platform, this is also there in the mobile landscape. So today, I think mobility is one thing where that's the choice, right, for any enterprise use. And when we talk about it, I think 50% of the attacks today are on the mobile platforms, right? And 8% of the organizations today are one way or the other. They use third-party products, right? The apps, and the chances of attacks are very high there. So moving on, when we say Apple first, it means the Apple-based threat intelligence. And in the recent past, what we have seen is the products which are there are not actually meant for the Apple ecosystem, and that's why some of the viruses which are there are not discovered by the virus tool. And at our threat labs, we have found that 50% of the viruses which were there are either undetected or were unknown to the virus tool. So which means that we need to be having a tool which is specially designed for this particular ecosystem. We'll talk about a bit on those things, on those solutions a bit later when my colleague Roopam comes on to stage. But before that, let us try and understand the fundamentals on which our products are designed. So when we design a product, we keep in mind the three important aspects, which is the security, the manageability, and the user experience. So what we have seen in the common practices, vendors who take care of the security and the manageability at times do not score high on the user experience. Here we see that the user experience is given the preference, but when it comes to the security and the manageability, I think they are not there. And then what is the next scenario? The next scenario is there are vendors who give preference to the security and the manageability part, but they compromise on the user experience. We at Jamf, we design product which takes care of all these aspects. And that is where we score high, right? And that is the reason, because people who have been in the Apple ecosystem might have felt that it's the user experience which is the most important factor. And that is why you might have seen Tim Cook talking about user experience. That's something which they never want to compromise. And being an Apple first company, our design motto, product design motto is always based on that we do not want to compromise on the user experience, and at the same time do not want to compromise on the manageability and the security of the devices. Now, we understood that there is a segment which popularly we always felt is not vulnerable to malwares, but because of the increased footprint of that segment in the enterprise today, more and more attacks are happening there, and that's where the scope for new business lies. And for that, we have our partnership program. So, and I'll just wrap up in 2 minutes, because I know I have another just 5 minutes, and I want Roopam to come and talk about some of the solutions that we have. So it's there. We have some great enablers for our partners, starting from, a very robust deal registration process. We have dedicated solution engineer or sales engineer for some category of our partners. We have, never ever heard of incentive programs for our channel partners. And at the same time, we also have different modes of partnership. So, which maybe let me just move a bit. So these are the 4 categories of partnership that we have. I'll not go into the details. We have a booth just outside this hall. We can talk later on. It starts with the traditional reseller. Here we have 3 different categories. We have the managed service provider. We have the integrator, people who are not into sales but want to provide service to their customers can become our partner, and the technology partner, and these are basically for the ISVs. So these are some of the category of partnership, or the category of partners that we have. And what does our partner have to sell and support our customers with? For that, I would now request Roopam to come over and take us through. Over to you, Roopam.
Thank you, Som. Hey, hi everyone. Thank you for the platform. If I can have the.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. So a few known faces in the room, a lot of unknown. That's good. Hi. So what we are going to talk about here is, while Soumitro set the stage for why Apple needs an attention as an ecosystem from all the organizations, and that's what we are seeing at Jamf as well, wherein the customers are looking at a separate platform for Apple as an ecosystem. And the biggest reason behind that is, until some time back, as Soumitro said, that Apple was considered to be malware-free per se, or was not vulnerable. But as the growth in enterprise has happened for Apple, the growth for threat actors has also increased, right? So that's what we are going to talk about, how Jamf supports the Apple ecosystem and mobile ecosystem. I'll try to finish in 2 minutes, 40 seconds, but let's see. So Jamf talks about something called trusted access. That's the platform approach that we talk about. Trusted access, while I'm sure all of you must have heard the word trust in last 8 to 10 years, and the first thought that comes to your mind must be just another zero trust platform, right? But with Jamf, it's quite different. We just don't talk about the access. What we talk about is, ensuring that only the enrolled devices, the authorized users on enrolled devices, which are secure and compliant, are able to access the company data, sensitive data, right? Now this, when you go and talk to any of your customers, some of the top things that CXOs talk about are, as Soumitro said, user experience, automation, and security. These are some of the 3 key jargons or key aspects that any CIO, CTO, or a CISO would kind of look at, right? That's where Jamf outshines any other platform in the industry. We work right from the endpoint to the network, to the access, to the internet, public internet, right from your Mac OS devices to your Android devices, dedicated solutions, right? With our, the whole trusted access story is based upon the 6 pillars, wherein, as I said in the previous slide, enrolling the right devices, ensuring the identity is confirmed, so the authorized users, security and compliances are maintained, only then the access should be provided. Where does automate come into all of this? Everywhere. So if at all, at some point, something is breaking, automatically the access should be blocked. If something is not right, automatically the SOC team should be informed. If something is not working correct, if some kind of vulnerability is found, automatically the action is, or remediation is taken, right? So that's the whole focus for us, automation and proactive remediation. Automation can be as small as, asking the user or enforcing the user to change passwords regularly, to erasing the work profile from a BYO device. It could also be enforcing disk encryption, CIS benchmarks. So compliances also come into picture. One big challenge with Apple devices in organizations is that the organizations are not able to match the same compliances for Windows as vis-a-vis Apple devices, right? You want to disable the hotspots. You want to ensure that your users are not downloading any malicious applications. You want to ensure your users are not downloading any other application than the corporate applications. All that can be done with Jamf. But this does not stop here. This is just the kind of the management part of it. Then comes the security part of it, wherein, again, remediation, automatic remediation comes into picture, wherein if something is happening out of the blue, some wrong behavior is going on in the organization, you want to do some kind of threat hunting. All of that can be taken care of automatically again. You want to block some risky Wi-Fis, you want to do some kind of threat hunting, you want to do some kind of AI-based detections, behavior-based detections, action remediations. All of that can be taken care of with Jamf. I would want to touch upon mobile devices as well, wherein we excel a lot. The solutions that we provide, they are purpose-built for Android and iOS. A lot of organizations today do provide mobile devices to their users. A lot of them do. But all of them provide applications on BYO at least, right? So we have two sets of customers, two sets of users in any customer. Either the corporate device is being used, or in case of a BYO, applications are being pushed. Now, usually the CTO would say that, okay, I'm utilizing an MAM or an MDM through which I'm able to push the applications. That's correct. But pushing the application does not secure your device or the connection that it makes, right? So that's where Jamf comes into picture. Jamf provides you on-device threat prevention. Jamf provides you network-level threat prevention. The user, they should not be able to, as I was talking in the previous slide as well, they should not be able to access any risky hotspots. They should not be able to download any risky applications, malicious applications, third-party app stores. In case you have an acceptable usage policy, they should not be able to go to a gambling website, a gaming website, for example, right? But this does not stop here. This is all about corporate workflows, right? Corporate devices workflows. But then comes BYO. In case of BYO, the paramount thing becomes the user privacy as well. The most apprehension that happens is towards the user that, what is it that the organization is putting on my phone and what is it that they are looking. So Jamf succeeds over there as well. We have different workflows for BYO. We have different workflow for corporate owned. In case of a BYO device, only the corporate applications will go via zero trust access policy. Only the corporate browser will go through a secure DNS. But in case the user is accessing something on their personal mobile phone, it will not be touched at. Looked into. Lastly, I want to talk about something called, I'm sure a lot of us have heard about Pegasus. Almost all of us have heard about Pegasus, Predators, the advanced spywares, zero-click attacks, one-click attacks, wherein a threat has landed on your mobile phone even without touching your mobile phone, right? So these kind of attacks are very sophisticated. They do not require your intervention. They do not require another person's intervention as well. What could be common signs of a compromised phone? The phone may not be working fine. You might find it acting weird. You might want to switch it, turn it off and turn on, but it still does not behave well, right? So what's the option? Either you assume that something is wrong, but I have nothing to do, right? Or you stay in the dark, or you send it to a forensic team, right? That's where Jamf comes into picture with our tool called JetP. This is a very, very sophisticated tool. Only meant for executives. The name itself says Jamf Executive Threat Protection. In short, we call it JetP. With this kind of tool, we are able to identify what happened in case an attack like Pegasus, Predator, your leaders, organizations leader, customers leaders, conglomerates, board of directors, chief strategy officers, in case of law enforcement agencies. These are the people who are vulnerable to targeted attacks, sophisticated spyware attacks. That's where Jamf helps you identify what happened, how it happened, when it happened, what was taken out, what is the trail that's happening. All of that is something that we identify. So to summarize, with trusted access, you are able to maintain compliance on your Mac and mobile platforms, which is not happening today for most of your customers. You are able to protect, obviously, organizational data wherever it exists, right from the network to the, right from the endpoint to the network. You are able to enable productivity from anywhere. Compatibility, okay, so we have something called zero-day support for Mac OS. Again, this is something which is very unique with Jamf. The new OS that gets launched in case of any Windows-centric solution, organizations are not able to upgrade the OS because the solution is not compatible with the latest OS. Jamf provides that from day zero. So yeah, that's something that we provide, and we have a booth outside, as Soumitro said, and we'll look forward to hang around with you. Thank you.